8,400 vacancies for apprenticeship. The examination will be on the lines of the bank recruitment exams and will be conducted. Single phase examination will be conducted in January. It is a contractual job. It is for 3 years. I shall make a video on the facts related to the advertisement and my predictions and thoughts on that. Anyway, that has come out as another opportunity to you. So I shall speak about that through a special video. All these videos will be available in our official YouTube channel, YouTube/C/ICD KOLLAM-JK. So please visit our YouTube channel periodically, subscribe, like and share, and of course our other social media platforms too. We shall provide you information to all of you. Good afternoon everybody. I get a lot of messages from my students, my dear ones. I am sure that you all have come by reading the newspapers. Ensure that you spend good quality time in front of your newspaper so that we will get the best benefit of the program. See, math and reasoning are generally easier subjects. If you are ready to invest a lot of time, in a short span of time you will improve, tremendously you will improve. But in the case of English and general awareness, thanks to our having no background, it may take time, but I am very sure that it will come in handy to you at the time of the examination, provided you spend good quality time in front of your newspapers, read and improve your general information level, improve your English capabilities. These are going to be the lifetime assets for you. The so called commercial arithmetics or reasoning that you are learning now have got only limited utility. Once you clear the ladder, once you clear the line and get the examination, nobody is going to use this reasoning questions and all. You can forget it forever, but English language and your general information level would continue to be a long term asset for you all through your life. In fact, that is what we are focusing at through this newspaper analysis. I am sure you enjoyed my colleague's class yesterday at 3 o'clock. Tomorrow onwards we are going to have 2 live sessions. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock another live session. Of course that may not be on every day. The 3 o'clock session and 12 o'clock session will be there on every day except on Sundays, but the 8 o'clock session will come to you periodically. Our aim is to pump you maximum questions so that you get maximum practice. So at the end of the day, what is going to matter is the practice that you are going to make. So let us begin with the newspaper analysis of November 19. Army builds extreme weather habitats for troops in Ladakh, and vaccine trial of Cypher is 95% success, and there is a small news on NPR, National Population Register. These occupy the main page of the front page of the Hindu. So let us take one by one and discuss them. Do you like this program? Let me ask you. Before I proceed further, I would like to know whether do you like this program? Do you think that you are benefited by this program? Good afternoon. I require a response before I start, because the viewers are erratic, number of viewers is erratic. Someday I have got good number, someday that is not the case. So I would like to know whether you like or whether you think that you are benefited by this program, or is it that I am just throwing some words in the air. Okay, yes sir, one person says good, okay, thank you, that is an encouragement, definitely. If that were the case, make some positive comments against my video in the YouTube channel. That will be another encouragement to me. Let us have a wider public listening to this. That is what I would like to have. Okay, thank you anyway. It's good to know that it's very interesting also. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much Aravind, thank you very much Anaka, thank you all. Thank you all. Okay, it's a bit difficult for me to read all the comments, but yeah, it's very useful. Okay, thank you. I too really enjoy the session with all of you. Of course, I have been teaching and in the midst of students for the past 25 years, but that is not the case now. So it is to a great extent a kind of a relief to me that I am not able to communicate at least through an online platform, that too directly. Anyway, yes, I read the Hindu because only due to this program. Oh, that is an encouragement, well and truly. So let us begin. Thank you. Army builds extreme weather habitats for troops in Ladakh. Listen, while we are preparing for bank test and all here, under the cozy comfortable environment of our home, our soldiers are protecting our borders at high altitude. Look, 14,000 feet to 18,000 feet is the area that experience 40 feet of snowfall from December onwards, and the temperature is minus 40 degrees Celsius. Just imagine how terrible the life would be. So we would think that we find fault with you know, or our own miseries of life, but look at our soldiers. They are fighting the borders of the country. They provide the strongest vigil. And now the government has decided to come out, modernize the army. They have come out, decided to provide extreme weather habitats, self-energized habitats. Soon the government has already given some pictures of such habitats. It is an all-weather habitat that the government has provided for the army. So these are government's larger plans to modernize the army. I remember President Jefferson, American President Jefferson, said, an army must be lean and mean, lean in size and mean in effect. So we have to, through one side, reduce the strength of the army, but we have to make them very mean. We have to modernize the army. Modern wars are going to be different from, it is not going to be a number game, rather it is going to be a technology oriented. So we require stronger army. Strength should come through larger technology, and we have to provide maximum vigil on our borders so that the country can be protected from enemies. We know that we are attacked from both the west and the eastern part. We for a long time thought that the eastern part we have got some kind of a solace, but that is not the way, that is not the things are we recently experienced. Not just recently, even 2018 in the KOLLAM, Indian army and the Chinese army were eye to eye, but that got diffused, and this time we lost 20 soldiers in the latest skirmishes between the armies, and it has been since 1960 wars that for the first time we lost any soldier in the eastern part of India. Okay, so let us continue. Please read all these things. These are quickly readable stuffs, so please read. Vaccine trial showed 95% success. Pfizer. Pfizer, as you may know, is an international pharmaceutical giant. Yesterday, American company Moderna sorry, came out and said that their vaccines are also 94.5% safe to use. So plenty of vaccine candidates are coming up. These are providing hopes to the pandemic hit economies of the world. Moderna vaccine will not be available to India, it will be available only to Americans, but Pfizer's vaccine will be available to India. So all the countries across the world are trying to make a super supply chain so that vaccines can be given to people on a priority basis to priority candidate recipients, and so we got to have the supply chain in place, a cold chain in place, so that vaccines can be safely used. Anyway, vaccines, corona vaccines are going to make news in the days to come. It will occupy places in your general awareness question papers too. So please take down things. Okay, Pfizer said 170 volunteers in its trial involving over 40,000 people contracted COVID-19, but 162 of them had only been given placebo. What is meant by placebo? Placebo effect means, suppose I am a doctor and you come to me for some kind of a treatment. I give you an injection of plain water and you believe that it is a medicine, and since you have got absolute trust in me, sometimes through some magic the disease will vanish. So this is called placebo effect. So when vaccine trials take place, placebo vaccines are also given, not just the original candidate vaccine, but placebo vaccines are also given. It is not a vaccine, rather it is a kind of a camouflage. So there such things are called placebo, and it is called placebo effect. So anyway, so of 10 people who had severe COVID, 1 had received the vaccine. So these are the ways in which it is not a trial and error stuff, rather the assimilation of data, use of data, and all done scientifically before a vaccine is made, and a vaccine get transformed from a candidate vaccine to an accepted vaccine. So let us see, as I told you, COVID vaccine is going to occupy place in your question paper. So in what way, what all questions would come, we have no idea, we can only make a guess. So we can widen the net so that we read about everything and we get the question that they may ask. Questionnaire on NPR being finalized. Registrar General of India. So they are conducting the NPR, National Population Registry, which is a part of the census which is going to take place in 2021. We know that we are conducting census, we conduct census every 10 years, and that is due in 2021. Of course, COVID pandemic might affect our head count, but the government agencies go with the plan, as and NPR is being finalized. NPR and NCR. NPR is the head count, National Population Register, and NCR is National Citizenship Registry, which has made all kind of controversies. So we have to wait what is going to happen. Please read. Next year the census, next year onwards census based news will occupy. Now the government is just planning, sorry, not the government but Registrar General of India is planning what all questions that are to be asked to the public while the nationwide head count takes place in 2021. New challenges. India must not fight shy of engaging with Joe Biden administration on contentious issues. We know that our country had, our Prime Minister had exemplary relations with the American President Donald Trump. Of course, that was even to a great extent to the personal level. Prime Minister went, many accused, Prime Minister went even beyond the limit for even campaigning for American President during the election. But the defense says that Prime Minister had kept similar relationship with even the Democratic President Barack Obama. So governments may change, but relationship with democracies would continue. Administrations, the bureaucracy would ensure that the relationships between the administration, whether it is Democrats or Republicans at the American government, the relationship with India will continue, because democracies find some meeting point and commonalities. India is the biggest democracy, America is the most powerful democracy. older democracies. So, there are certain common things. We can communicate more with America than with China or even Russia, which is to a great extent a kind of a mock democracy. So, American president has announced by Americans, that was one of the slogans during the campaign time by Joseph Biden, while India has gone for its Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India campaign, or so all these things are again considered protectionism. But anyway, open protectionism of economies may not be possible in this global trade era, but anyway, countries are trying to protect. That is another, everybody wants free trade to the extent that it will support their own domestic economies. So that true is a reality. So how Buy American campaign and Atmanirbhar India campaign go together? That are certain things. We know there was huge pressure on Indian administration by the Trump administration to open up Indian motorbike market. American president personally campaigned with the Indian government to provide access to Harley Davidson. So all the administrations are trying to get other economies opened for their products. So how do we find a meeting point? The first telephone conversation between Joseph Biden and Narendra Modi significantly did not mention anything about terrorism. Rather, they were thinking more about progressive things. Okay, so we have to wait and see how the new relationships evolve between the new administration in Washington and Indian government. Reinventing cities is the second editorial by the Hindu. So it is we see Indian cities got really exposed during the COVID times for all their vulnerabilities. It was cities that were attacked by the coronavirus, and cities were exposed for all the vulnerabilities in the sense that they lack even basic amenities. During the COVID times, that got really exposed. So government has come out with certain plans. We discussed one of them, I forgot the name and all. I was mentioning about Surat, that becoming the first city to implement that plan. I think it is temporary lodging facilities for migrant workers. I forgot that name of the program. So such things are mentioned, and Mumbai, Dharavi was the cynosure of world eyes, and the Maharashtra government did a superb job in containing COVID virus spread in Dharavi, and it is the biggest slum in Asia. So it was contained through remarkable efforts by the Maharashtra government. So that is going to be a case study for many countries in the days to come. Anyway, a good article, affordable dwelling is something that the government wants to keep in big cities. So it will have the it is going to serve the twin purpose of making city living more comfortable and cozy, and creating employment. So please read the article, a good one. In the first 100 days of the pandemic, the top 10 cities affected worldwide accounted for 15% of the total cases. Okay, please read. These are good information that you can use when you maybe face an interview or a personal or a group discussion, or even when you write a piece. Amid a judicial slide, a flicker of hope on rights. Justice Ajit Prakash Shah, the former judge of the Chief Justice of the High Court of Delhi and Madras, he was finding some hope in the recent decision by the Supreme Court bench providing relief to Arnab Goswami. Yesterday we read just an article of keeping just the opposite view, in which the Supreme Court verdict was criticized. Supreme Court, what happened was this: Arnab Goswami, the editor of the Republican channel, was arrested by the Mumbai police, citing a case in 2018 in which a person wrote a suicide note saying that Arnab Goswami's involvement and two others' involvement were there. They were abetting suicide of this person. 83 lakhs rupees Republican channel owed to that person who did some interior work, which the Republican channel failed to honor, and that person committed suicide. Of course, this case was settled by a competent court in 2019, but all of a sudden Arnab Goswami, who is known for his pro central government views, was arrested by the Mumbai police and he was sent to jail, against which Arnab Goswami, instead of going to the Sessions Court for bail, he moved the High Court. It is quite unusual that a person approaches the High Court instead of approaching the usual court. So High Court said that he must have gone to the usual Sessions Court for the regular bail, but he moved the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court finally gave him bail, and Supreme Court severely criticized the High Court for not honoring personal liberty. So High Court was clearly following a procedure of law, but the Supreme Court said that when it comes to personal liberty, a higher court, the High Court of India, should not have gone by simple procedures, rather it must have given weightage to personal liberty of a person. So this was supported by Justice Ajit Prakash Shah, while it was severely criticized by Advocate Panchu, who wrote the essay 2 days ago. So these are all enlightening stuffs, different points of view which we have to read and understand. The need of maximum government. Listen, world over governments are shrinking and markets have started dictating the terms of life. Listen, which government in America during the pandemic time, America got exposed, government gives diktats, people don't obey. So America is a free society, a kind of a liberal society where government cannot dictate terms to people. There the pandemic became uncontrollable, but wherever we could find stronger governments, classic example is China, even though it is too much, they could easily contain. China was the hub of the pandemic, but China could easily control that because of strong government. In India too, we have got much stronger government than or influence on people than what the American government has got its own people. So India also have done marvelously well, especially when compared to the huge population, mammoth population that we have. But the article speaks slightly different things. It says that what we require is greater governance. You see, people lost their jobs. They all of a sudden were forced to sit inside their home, and government came out with Atmanirbhar 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, etc. all so called stimulus package. But in the first Atmanirbhar scheme 1.0, government said they were going to help people to the tune of 20 lakh crore. In that 20 lakh crore, most of the amount was bank guarantee, credit, bank credit, etc. But what people required when they don't have job is money in their hands, which the government did not give. But at least now of late the government has understood the severity of unemployment in India, and the latest package government seems to have shown some inclination towards providing jobs. People need money that can revive. All these economists say that money must be given to the hands of the people. They will correct the economy by creating demand, otherwise the economy will move on to a kind of a recessionary trend, and it will be very difficult to get back. But the article says that what we require is stronger government and stronger governmental intervention. Okay, let us see all our good beautiful articles. United Nations reforms being blocked, says minister. So why should there be a reform of the United States? We know that United Nations organization, UNO, was created on October 24, 1945. United Nations initial mission was to stop the world from plunging into a third world war. So at that time, the structure of the United Nations is this: there are almost 194 countries in UNO. They make the General Assembly. All sovereign countries can become a member of the United Nations organization, but the real power is vested with the UN Security Council. If any resolution is to be passed by the UNO, it must be first cleared by the United Nations Security Council, which comprises 15 members, of which 5 are permanent members. And which are those permanent members? We can learn it more meaningfully. From the American continent, it is the United States of America. From the Asian continent, it is China. And from Europe, it is England, France and Russia. These are the 5 permanent members. These 5 permanent members have got veto power. They can scuttle any resolution even if it is passed otherwise by a majority. So a resolution mooted by America, even if it wins 14 votes including America, China can oppose to it. Once China opposes, it is vetoed, finished. China can veto. So within the United Nations organization, the real power can be seen in UN Security Council, to which India is going to be a non-permanent member. There are 10 non-permanent members. India is going to be a non-permanent member from January 1, 2021. But the real de facto authority can be seen in the P5, 5 permanent members. India has been looking forward to a membership in the United Nations Security Council as a permanent member, which is really legitimately due to India. Look, in the UN Charter, promotion of democracy is one of the agendas. What democracy can be there if the biggest democracy is not given a proper say? So that is a real claim of India. India is the biggest democracy in the world, but India does not have a real say in UNO. So a position to India is due, clear. Number 2, look at India's 75 years of history. India has never gone for any kind of expansionist tendencies by encroaching upon others' lands. So India has been a peace loving nation. India has never gone on war with any other country on its own. Of course, it had to defend its borders 3 times, but that apart, India has never been. And look at India's claim on another plane, that India has sent maximum peacekeeping missions to all across the world. Wherever there are troublesome areas, India voluntarily send its peacekeepers. Now, the problems of the world cannot be solved if problems of India are not solved, because the problems of India are larger than that of the world. India is the biggest democracy, India is the second biggest populous country in the world, and India is of course a developing country. India's influence cannot be undermined. Now take the presence of members in the UNO Security Council as permanent members. From America, there are 33 countries in Americas. From representing the Americas, there is only one country, USA. The 30 Latin American countries go unrepresented. From Asia, there is only one China. What about India? What about Japan? One of the biggest economies and contributors to major international financial entities. Japan does not have a place. India does not have a place. Look at Africa. There is nobody from Africa. There is nobody from Africa. Africa is underrepresented. India is underrepresented. Latin America is underrepresented. And look at Europe, they are overrepresented. European significance has been coming down significantly ever since the Second World War. But Europe has got 3 candidates as permanent members in United Nations Security Council. Anyway, so a reform is very much due, and governments one after the other from India have been trying for United Nations reforms, but anyway that is not properly heard of. Hopefully in the days to come, countries have to accept a legitimate claim today or tomorrow has to be accepted. So UNO has to go for larger reforms, including countries like India, South Africa, Brazil, Japan, South Korea, etc. Otherwise it will lose its sheen and even relevance. Will return to nuclear deal if US sanctions are lifted. It was in 2015 that Iran signed the agreement with the United Nations organization that it will use their nuclear energy only for peaceful purposes and will not use it for military purposes. But in 2018 unilaterally America declared sanctions against Iran, citing that Iran still kept military nuclear ambitions. So anyway, the new administration has come to USA. That's a ray of hope for Iran also. Iran is the country which produces maximum dates. Iran is the country that is having the largest reservoir of natural gases, but still Iran suffers financially very heavily because of the trade embargo. Nobody can do trade with Iran. So Iran is suffocated financially. Now the change in guard in Washington is a ray of hope for the Iranian government. That's what it says. Will return to nuclear deal if US sanctions are lifted. Once US imposed sanctions, Iran said it was backing out from the 2015 agreement. This is what Mohammad Javad Zarif said, that it would come back to the nuclear deal if US sanctions are lifted. I think the point is very clear to you. Vedanda bids for BPCL, major foreign player too in the race. So we know that yesterday too I mentioned that BPCL was up for sale. Government has decided to disinvest its equities in BPCL. Major Indian players like the Reliance did not participate. Indian oil majors like ONGC were not allowed to participate in the bid. So Vedanda has decided to purchase the BPCL. We have to wait and see how it is going to happen really. So let us see what is going to happen. Government is selling its entire 52.98 stake in India's second largest fuel retailer. Government is going to sell it out completely. So BPCL is going to be a private company once its shares are sold out to any private company. Acquisition of Lakshmi Vilas Bank, it is very important, is going to come for your examination. I told you yesterday also that Reserve Bank of India has imposed a 1-month moratorium on withdrawals beyond 25,000 rupees. So LVB's non-performing asset has touched 26%, an intolerable level. So it is expected that DBS of Singapore will take over Lakshmi Vilas Bank. So DBS may stand to gain because all of a sudden they will have 500 branches. Presently they have got only 27 branches. So it is a chance for them to grow inorganically, and Reserve Bank of India expects that DBS will pump in 2,500 crore rupees for recapitalizing Lakshmi Vilas Bank. Thank you very much for patiently watching the program. I hope that program is improving by the day, but of course the participation is not improving by the day. That is a great disappointment to me, but try to understand the utility, encourage your friends to participate. The more people we have, the greater level of conversation that we have, the greater the utility of the program be. So ensure that all of you anticipate the program. Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, okay, ICDs for okay, okay, thank you. Thank you very much for being a student. Thank you very much that you are my student. I am very happy. Thank you all. Thank you all for the studious listening of the program. Let us. I would like to let you know that tomorrow at 8 o'clock there is a live session. Today at 3 o'clock there is a live session. But of course, those sessions are exclusively for ICDians. Encourage your friends to join the program. We are ready to provide you the best of all services. All suggestions are welcome. We would respond to them. May God bless. Goodbye. Have a very good day.